With former President Donald Trump set to be arraigned tomorrow, some legal experts say they expect the judge to also issue a gag order. The move could prevent Trump from publicly discussing that case. KXAN's Tom Miller talked with a former senior staffer in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office about what could happen.
With the former president's arraignment on Tuesday, you have said that you expect a gag order to be part of the terms of his release. Why is that?
Well, I think there are a number of factors that make it likely that there'll be a gag order in the case. But the first is that gag orders are relatively common in criminal cases. And in this particular case, where there's a lot of pretrial publicity and you have a high profile defendant, it makes it even more likely. But I think what tips the scale is the fact that Trump, who is now a criminal defendant facing criminal charges, is making lots of comments extrajudicially about the case. He's speaking out on social media platforms and elsewhere about the case. And that's just something that the court won't abide and often doesn't abide.
What could happen if the judge does not issue the gag order? And what do you say about the likely argument that this would be infringing on the former president's First Amendment rights?
The black letter law is really clear that gag orders do not infringe on the First Amendment. So I think that it's an argument that's likely to fail. And at the end of the day, it's something that he can try to appeal as much as he wants, but there's really no right to interlocutory appeal on a gag order, meaning there's really nowhere for him to go with it.
Can you explain there in New York, what is the penalty for breaking a gag order, and how far do you think a judge would potentially take that?
At the end of the day, the judge has the ability to implement fines on Mr. Trump and the lawyers for breaking an order of the court, a gag order, as well as potentially putting Mr. Trump in jail for up to 30 days.
Attorney Duncan Levin, we so appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.